Self-discovery on the way. Reflect, reset, be your best. Join the quiz, it's not a test. Feel the light, embrace the dawn. Empowerment is going strong. Daily lesson quiz, hooray! What did we learn today? Join the fun, let's all play. Reflect, reset, rise today. Morning gods, we shine so bright. Wisdom flowing pure insight. Soar us through God's words, they lift us high. New beginnings reach the sky. Every moment take it in. Start anew, let's begin. From the dawn to the night, together we ignite. Daily lesson quiz, hooray! What did we learn today? Join the fun, let's all play. Reflect, reset, rise today.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to First Light Reflections, your weekday guide to self-discovery and empowerment, where each sunrise is a fresh new opportunity to do what, family? Reflect, reset, and create the best version of ourselves. I am your devotional strategist, but the Holy Spirit is your transformation coach. And around here, we don't just read the Bible, we reprogram with it. And this morning, we continue on our mission to break cycles. This morning, we are talking to the part of you that keeps saying, tomorrow, I will do better. We're looking at too much access. But tomorrow keeps turning into the same pattern, the same slip, the same compromise, the same day in, day out, the same lack of follow through. And the worst part is not that you fail. The worst part is you're starting to get used to it. Our devotional text this morning, we are looking at Proverbs chapter 25, verses 18 through 28. Yes, 18 through 28 is wisdom for protection. Not protection from the world only, but protection from what we continue to allow. Because a life with no self-control is like a city with no walls. That means too much access. Anything can get in, anything can take over. And we will keep calling it stress when it's actually exposure, being overexposed. So, before we talk about discipline, we need to talk about what we've been leaving open. But first, let's open the door and invite God into our space. All right? Heavenly Father, we just come to you this morning, just so grateful and thankful for all that you've done, for keeping us through this week, for continuing to allow us moment after moment as we go on this journey. For each day, as your word says, we are made in your image, but you've continued to see fit to give us that time to transform ourselves truly in your image. Your word says, by beholding, we become changed. So as we continue to behold through your word that you've left for us in Proverbs, this morning we ask that you tabernacle with us and may you be glorified. In Jesus' name, amen and amen. So let us say good morning to those who are here joining us live. Good morning, Saying. Good morning. Hey, D. Good morning. How you doing? Good morning, Michelle, and happy Friday. So glad to see you. Good morning, Dorothy. How are you doing? Hey, Jennifer, Grand Rising. How are you? Glad to see you. And of course, there's Charlotte. Sometimes. Good morning, Charlotte. Happy Preparation Day. Hey, Jess. How you doing? How you doing, Elisha? So glad to see everyone here this morning. And if you're catching this on the replay, you're still a part of this moment. The same spirit that's here with us live is also with you right where you are right now. God's timing is never wrong. Let's get into this morning. Too much access. Yes, we're looking at Proverbs chapter 25, verses 18 through 28. And you say, oh man, that's a lot of ground. Yes, we have some ground to cover this morning. Good morning, Sister Lieutenant. How are you doing? So glad to see you. We're looking at too much access. See, because some of your battles are not because the enemy is strong. They're because your boundaries are weak. You call it temptation, but it's actually access. You call it burnout, but it's actually a breach in the wall. You may say, man, I'm in a bad season right now, but it is a pattern that's been left unguarded. And the truth is, what we do not control will eventually control us. And throughout our study time in this season, what have we learned? That control is what? An illusion. Proverbs chapter 25, of course, as always, is not meant to shame us. It is a warning for our admonition that too much access can always cost us later. So if you're tired of cycling, spinning and spinning and spinning, today is a rebuild. But let's check our poll question and see what we're looking at. Where do you feel like you've allowed too much access lately? Is it words and actions, phone and habits, money and spending, or relationships and boundaries? Leading the way in our poll this morning is phone and habits at 43%. Tied at 14%, both are words and reactions, money and spending. And at 29%, relationships and boundaries. We will let our poll run and see how it looks. Check in on it here in a little bit. Scripture is about to show us where the walls are missing. See, self-control is not about being perfect and all put together. It's about being protected. See, integrity is not about being impressive. It's about being consistent. And our devotional text, Proverbs 25, verses 18 through 28, is a chain of warnings that all point to one simple truth. Your future is shaped by what you allow, by what you tolerate, and by what you continue giving access to. So the passage moves quickly through real life. It addresses lying that harms people, unfaithful people you can't rely on, words spoken with bad timing, how we treat our enemies, gossip and backbiting, contention that drains a home, compromise that pollutes our life, and pride that makes us seek our own glory. It's going to cover a lot. And you'll find once we make it towards verse 27, 28, you'll find the anchor. A person with no rule over their spirit is like a city broken down without walls. So that's the journey we're going on this morning. And keeping in mind that it's not just poetic fluff, it is actually a diagnosis for those that have been trying to figure out what is wrong, what's going on here. So if your life feels exposed, unstable, and constantly under pressure, it might not be because you need more motivation. It simply might be because you need stronger walls, less access, and more rule, more integrity. Now, let's bring this into our personal question before we open the text, right? Where do you feel the most exposed right now? Like anything can get in. Where do you feel most exposed? That's our question of the day. Like anything can get in. So hold that place. Whatever that answer is for you, hold that place because the word is about to show us a rebuild. Those that like to journal, self-reflection, write down one area where you continue to compromise. Then answer this. What is getting access to me that should not have this much permission? What is it? Now, we go to the text because self-control gets more clear when we see what God is trying to warn us against. Proverbs chapter 25, again looking at verses 18 through 28, is a chain of wisdom warnings. And we'll see how each verse is like a brick, one brick building onto the other until we can lay a strong foundation. So by the end, you will see the wall God is trying to build around your future. And we know this world is not what, family? Did you say our home? Right. We will read each verse line upon line, precept upon precept. Let's get into it. A man who bears false witness against his neighbor is like a club, a sword, and a sharp arrow. Confidence in an unfaithful man in time of trouble is like a bad tooth and a foot out of joint. Mercy, starting right, just coming right out the gate with verses 18 and 19, huh? See, a false witness is more than a lie. It is speech that is used as a weapon. It destroys trust, peace, and reputations. And Proverbs, what does Proverbs compare it to? Violence, club, a sword, and a sharp arrow. That is what unrestrained speech does. It gives harm access through words. False witness against his neighbors like a club, a sword, and a sharp arrow. Then verse 19, watch how it shifts to trust. Relying on an unfaithful person is like a bad tooth or a dislocated foot. It falls right when you need it the most. So integrity, again, as I've said before, is not a vibe. Integrity is reliability. It is being steady under pressure. And when integrity is weak, relationships become unstable. You keep getting hurt, not because you're too kind, but because you keep giving access to people who have proven they cannot hold it. They're not ready to hold that space, to help you carry that weight. Let's look at verses 20 and 22. Like one who takes away a garment in cold weather, and like vinegar on soda, is one who sings songs to a heavy heart. If your enemy is hungry, give him bread to eat. And if he is thirsty, give him water to drink. For so you will heap coals of fire on his head, and the Lord will reward you. Verse 20 is emotional wisdom. Wrong timing makes comfort feel cruel. Singing to a heavy heart is like stripping someone in the cold. Vinegar on soda. What happens when you pour vinegar on baking soda? What does it create? It creates a reaction. So vinegar on soda is a reaction that makes a mess. So self-control, right, includes knowing when not to talk, even when you want to. Verse 21 and 22 here, watch it. It shifts to integrity in conflict. Feeding your enemy is restraint. It is refusing to allow hatred to train our habits. It is refusing to give bitterness access to our character. See, this is not weakness. This is strength with strong boundaries, with strong walls. See, God says he will do what? And the Lord will reward you. He says he will reward it, which means our restraint is seen. So our integrity is not wasted. Verses 23 and 24. The north wind brings forth rain, and the backbiting tongue an angry countenance. It is better to dwell in a corner of a housetop than in a house shared with a contentious woman. Where have we seen this passage before? You guys remember this passage? See, words create weather. Backbiting creates anger. And it changes what? It shifts the atmosphere. It makes peace exit a room. It leaves a room. Verse 24 is about contention. See, constant conflict drains a space, drains a home, drains a community, drains an environment. Constant conflict is what it's talking about. So it is better to dwell in the corner of a housetop than in a house shared with a contentious woman. See, this is not just a verse to shame women, it is wisdom about what a contentious spirit does in any person, no matter whether male, female, he, she, them, they, it, whatever pronoun you wish to put there. This is about what a contentious spirit can do and bring out in any person. See, self-control means we don't have to feed arguments. Integrity means we don't normalize chaos. Charlotte says, I believe that is our third contentious woman verse. You watch it? You catching that, Charlotte? Good morning, Burton. So self-control. We don't have to feed into that. I don't have to give life to this. I'm not going to normalize this chaos just because that's what you've become accustomed to. Boundaries, building walls. See, because if we continue giving anger access, guess what? It's going to take up take up residence, and it will start to live in your space, in your house. It will say, well, let me make myself right at home here. Yeah. If we continue to give these things access. Verses 25 and 26. As cold water to a weary soul, so is good news from a far country. A righteous man who falters before the wicked is like a murky spring and a polluted well. See, good news refreshes, but compromise pollutes. A righteous person who caves under pressure becomes a contaminated source. So when you've heard that saying, or have you ever said, man, I'm just going along to get along. I'm just doing whatever I need to do to appease them and keep them happy. Listen, a righteous man who falters before the wicked is like a murky spring and a polluted well. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah. See, integrity is not just what we say we believe. It's what we stand on, 10 toes down, when it's really going to cost us something. It's not just what we say that we believe, right, D? False peace. And that is deception. And deception is what? An untruth, a lie. So, yeah.
Lie them lie. I lie them lie.
Still chuckling about the poor man huddled up in the corner. You know, that's what I picture. You know, it says it's better to be up on the rooftop, in the corner of the rooftop, and just sitting there like, man, think about that. You know, and like Charlotte said, that's about the third time that we saw that. So there's a pattern. But in looking at this, a righteous man who falters before the wicked is like a murky spring and a polluted well. See, when we falter, it's not only personal. Think about this. Watch it now. It affects people who drink from you. You know, I think it's was it on? Believe it was, yeah, Wednesday night. You know, and we were making the point of we often forget, you know, Ezekiel says the blood is on our hands. And we often forget just how far that can travel. So just say you're having a rough morning, you stop into the convenience store, you're in the store, wherever you are, at work, you know, you set someone's mood off, then they leave there. Think about this trail. Then they have to catch a flight later in the day, but they're still reeling from the effects, right? They drank from your murky spring and polluted well. So then they take it out on the TSA people. Then the TSA people take it out on the other people who are online. That person gets on their plane. They end up in another country. They're still affected. by the water from the murky spring and the polluted well. So look how far the blood trail travels. See, we tend to think just in that moment. We don't look beyond to say, man, how far could this go? So the power of what Ezekiel says, the blood is on our hands. We don't realize the body count. Okay. Okay. I'm going to leave it. Chain reaction. When we falter, it's not only just our personal space, area. It affects every single person that drinks from us. Family, friends, community, those that are watching our life. See, Proverbs calls it a murky spring, a polluted well, meaning when we compromise, we also give confusion access into our influence. Mm. It is not good to eat too much honey. So to seek one's own glory is not glory. Whoever has no rule, watch it now, whoever has no rule over his own spirit is like a city broken down without walls. Mercy. Verse 27 returns to moderation and motive. Too much honey ruins sweetness. Still coming back, confirming again our text that we covered yesterday. To me, he says, hey, in case you didn't get it, in the previous verses, I'm going to remind you again, it is not good to eat too much honey. Too much self-glory ruins character. See, pride makes us seek praise instead of purity. So self-control is needed even with good things, family. Then verse 28 says, come on, let's land this plane with the final warning. No rule over your own spirit means no internal leadership. Remember yesterday we talked about self-leadership, right? You see that D, how it comes back? And it says, just in case you didn't pick it up in the prior verses, I'm going to remind one more time. It is not good to eat too much honey. So to seek one's own glory is not glory. And whoever has no rule over his own spirit is like a city broken down without walls. You remember earlier in the week, passing the home covered with the thorns, the thistles, those things that Charlotte was like, man, I don't like them things. The nettles and the walls all broken down, the homes all dilapidated looking. You see how this section of Proverbs continues to circle and say, listen, I'm going to repeat this in however many different ways I need to repeat this so that we can get it. Too much of a good thing. So when we have no rule over our own spirit, right? That means the internal leadership. See, we often worry about, okay, how does my leadership look on the outside? But what about the inside? No restraint, no gates, no walls. See, that is too much access. And a life with too much access is always going to feel unstable. How well would you sleep at night? How well would you sleep at night if the walls weren't around you? Would you sleep as comfortable? Put it in the chat. Let me know. If none of the walls would stay up and you're like, man, it's a lot of access while I'm sleeping. Really? If there were no walls, you still had everything else in your room, but the walls were missing. People passing by like, oh, she in her sleep. He in her sleep. It's too much access. It would feel unstable, unsecure. But it's something about the walls, checking the door. Wait a minute. Let me make sure I lock the front door. Wait, let me check the back door. Wait a minute. Make sure all the windows. So now that we went through this text, we've seen the bricks. Of course, we need a framework, and a framework that's going to turn these warnings that we went through into daily protection for us. Right, Dorothy? Listen, keeping one eye open, like, hey, I'm going to sleep light. Yeah. If you knew your locks were broken, and at some point, if the wind blew, the door was just going to blow open in the middle of the night. Anything could come in and out. There's that, man, I don't know about this. Let's glance over at our poll question. Where do you feel like you've allowed too much access lately? Still leading the way at 44%. Our phone and habits, now tied at 22%. Our words and reactions and relationship and boundaries and money and spending has dropped itself down to 11%. Interesting. Interesting. Let's look at the gate rule so that we can rebuild our walls. We need a gate. We need a gate. See, gates decide what gets access. Here's a simple rule for that. Guard your inputs. Guard your inputs. What you watch, what you read, what you listen to, and what you keep around you. And listen, if you aren't on the mailing list, add that to the things that you read each day. Make sure you go in under the description and click the link that says, make sure you're on the mailing list. Join the mailing list for this community. Because what you watch, what you read, what you listen to, and keep around you, guard it. Keep one eye open, as Dorothy says. Michelle says, yes, I see it, get it, and obey it. God is great. Audit your triggers. Oftentimes, we just want to brush them under the rug. We pretend that they're not there. Oh, I'll get to it. I'll deal with that later. Understand clearly, what is it that opens you up emotionally? And sometimes with these triggers, it's also important to understand some of the things that we know that open us up emotionally, we intentionally close off at the same time. Right? So know what opens you up emotionally. Audit your triggers. Tighten your boundaries. Remove some access. Reduce some exposure. Make your yes and no very clear. See, I know some people don't understand that no is a complete sentence. No. Have you ever said no to someone and they're like waiting on the rest, the explanation? Or you feel the need, well, no. Well, I'm saying no because you go into this long, no, it's just simply no. Or yes. Okay? Make your yes clear and your no clear. Let your yes be yes. Amen and amen. All right. Enforce consistently. It's key word. Enforce consistently. See, a boundary that we do not enforce, it's just simply a suggestion. You ever have rules and boundaries and people say, well, okay, I'll give you an example. When you cross my threshold, whether it's from through the garage, through the front door, through the back door, shoes, bye-bye. They don't cross my threshold. And it's so funny. Even I had the quarterly pest control people come You know, what did he do? He pulled out his little thing. Boom. He's been here enough times to know. Pulls out his shoe covers, puts them on. Hey, ma'am. See what I'm saying? When you have boundaries. But what do you just say a lot of, oh, it's okay. It's okay. You can leave. No, it's not. No, it's not. Listen, where's Sandra at? Sandra's been here today. And it's not that I'm being mean or I'm being over. Hey, shoes, don't cross my threshold. You know, some people, there's a few people that when they pop over, they're like, hey, I got my slippers and I got my socks, you know? But I even keep those. I have a stack of fresh socks for people that come. Hey, you want some fresh socks in case your feet get cold on this floor? See, but a boundary that we do not enforce, and sometimes we say, oh, it's okay. So then people get used to it. They're not sure what to do, whether to go left, whether to go right. They're not sure what to do. A boundary you don't enforce is just simply, well, I'm just suggesting. Listen, boundaries are boundaries, rules are rules. See, in this gate rule helps us to stop being surprised by what continues to get in. It removes the guesswork of, man, how did we get here? When did they stop listening to me? Man, why does everybody just run over me and do what they want to do? Because the boundaries that you enforced but just simply became suggestions. So at that point, they just figured they just do what they want to do when they want to do it. True story. Let's widen the lens because a lack of self-control, you know, right now at this time in Earth's history is being normalized. See, we live in a culture that rewards being unrestrained. No restraint. And people are rewarded for this. Oversharing is called authenticity. Anyone notice this? Impulsiveness is called honesty. Lack of discipline is called self-care these days. And the result is too much access. People have access to your attention, your emotions, your time, your body, your peace. And then you say, man, why do I feel so unstable? Why do I feel like I'm losing my mind? Think about it. But our devotional text says, instability is not always a circumstance. Sometimes it's the access that we've allowed. Sometimes it's the walls that we never finished building. We're like, man, I'm getting low on bricks. Well, I'll just stop right here. I'll finish that later. See, and walls are not punishment. Walls are wisdom, family. And once we see how culture trains exposure, we can recognize this is spiritual warfare. See, the enemy loves a wallless life because he does not have to break in. He can just ding, 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 just walk in. He just walks in. And how does he walk in? Through habits, through unchecked anger, through unguarded speech, through compromise. See, self-control is warfare. Integrity is warfare. And every time we tighten a boundary, guess what? We close a gate. We cut off access. Every time we tighten up a boundary, every time we lead our spirit instead of following it, watch that now. Every time. Remember, Paul says, man, I got to bring this flesh into subjection here. Every time we take lead of our spirit instead of following the flesh, we resist takeover. No, you're not going to come. Not today, Satan. Not today. See, the goal is not to become rigid, though, right? The goal is to become more protected. Now, the morning watch, 3 a.m., 6 a.m. Walls are built early. The morning watch is a watch of strength and direction. See, this is where we rebuild before the day starts demanding of us. So use this watch to ask God, Lord, rule over my spirit. Pray, Lord, show me where I have allowed too much access. Show me where the gates are open and these things are finding their way in. Strengthen my self control where I continue to compromise, and give me integrity when no one is watching. And help me to guard my words, my habits, and my boundaries. And teach me to rule my spirit and rule it with wisdom. Lord, give me the rule over my spirit. Whoever has no rule over his own spirit is like what? Is like a city broken down without walls. Give me rule over my spirit. Not moods that lead me, not impulses that drag me to and fro, not temptation deciding for me, but teach me to lead myself from inside with self led integrity, self control. See, because when my spirit has no rule, everything gets access. Peace gets accessed. Our mouth gets access. And what does it say? It becomes murky, a polluted well. Our habits get accessed. Our future gets accessed. Lord, so build walls in me and strengthen my restraint. Make my no firm and my yes clean. Give me rule over my spirit so my life stays protected. So, family, now that we've prayed, it's time to align our words with the walls that we are rebuilding. But let's check in here real quick. Michelle says, I always say I have this box, my boundaries. No one is allowed in. You may come close, but you can't come in. May God place a dome of protection around and over us in Jesus' precious name. Indeed, it's a very important prayer. Aligning and making sure, controlling our spirit. Because if we don't, guaranteed something or someone will step in and say, you know what? I'll run this show. I'll handle this. And then we wonder, and what? Why do things feel off? What is going on?
Oh, Jesus.
Mm. Good morning, Cheryl. Good morning. So let's look at our anchor statements. Here we go. I'm not living exposed. Nope. The same way we make sure, we have all these security systems and cameras and ring doorbells, all of this stuff. Don't even have to be at home, but we can check who's at my front door. What's going on? Who's that? I am not living exposed. I decide what has access to me. God is strengthening my self control, and integrity is my lifestyle. My peace is protected by wisdom. So let's anchor this. Let's anchor this with a cue that we can carry into temptation. Before we say yes, before we scroll, before we react or compromise, ask, am I giving this too much access? All right. Let's seal this in identity, the mirror mandate. I am not giving my peace too much access. I'm not allowing anything to get too close to my peace. I'm not giving my peace too much access. As this settles in, let's take a look here as we prepare to close out our poll. Leading the way, where do you feel like you've allowed too much access lately? Phone and habits at 45%. Leading the way. Man, and I tell you, and that stuff gets in quick. Right, D? Who that? Who in my front door? Who's that messing around? Hey, Lily, good morning. Let's do a pulse check here before we jump into our quiz. Where do you need a stronger gate right now? Is it in discipline? Is it emotions? Is it boundaries? Is it integrity? See, some of the pressure that we can tend to blame on life is actually just simply coming from one open gate. You know, I get tickled sometimes. A lot of people talk about country living and they're like, man, I want 300 acres. You're not guarding the 2 acres that you have. You're not watching the fifth of an acre, the half an acre. Are you? How are you going to protect and ensure that the 300 acres is protected when you're not even making sure that all the gates are on lockdown on the half acre? And sometimes we blame life, but it's actually our open gates, things that simply need to be secured. And some gates, they need double chains on them. Just saying. See, one place where you keep saying, well, it's not that serious. I'll work on it later. One place. Listen, it's true. People tell, oh, I want 500 acres. For what? You don't tend. You don't plow the half an acre that God has given you. But you want 500? Man, come on.
Lie them lie. I lie them lie.
We say, oh, it's not that serious. But it continues to steal our peace. See, this isn't about trying harder. It's about choosing exactly what gets access. Because whatever we don't guard, guess what? It's going to continue charging us, changing us, molding us, controlling us. So answer like you really want to be free. Do you want to be made whole? This is the day that the Lord has made. Pick up your bed and walk. And how can I say this? Because I have 2 PhDs. Hey, I probably have done it, or I probably had it done to me. So answer and decide like you really want to be free. Not like you just want to look strong, right? That's not what this is about. You know, they said looks can be deceiving. See, family, we are not condemned because our walls have been down, right? That's not what God is doing. He's not condemning us because there's been some breaches in the walls, you know, a few cracks that need mending. But he said, hey, here's the warning, because access can become expensive. A city without walls cannot rest. It has to stay on guard. And this is how so many people are living. Too much access. So many people are living this way, unable to rest, staying constantly on guard, always recovering, always reacting, always patching up, rigging it up, as they say. See, God is saying, listen, I'm going to offer you a better way. I'm not offering you perfection, but what I am offering you is protection. Self-control, family, is not bondage. It is freedom with structure. See, an integrity is not performance. It is consistency. So moving forward, tighten the gates, tighten the security. Peace is meant to protect our souls. Like the words of Martin Luther King, free at last, he was truly filled with wisdom. Tighten the gates. Reduce the exposure. Stop giving access to what continues to steal your peace. Right? Let's anchor this and make sure we got it. Y'all ready? Come on here. Let's go.
In the morning light so bright, it's the first light reflections quiz time. Toronado leading the way with God's wisdom. Let's start the quiz and seize the day.
Let's go.
All right, fam, true or false? A false witness is compared to weapons. Is this true or is this false? In our devotional text, a false witness is compared to weapons. Charlotte, is this true?
Facts.
See, Dorothy and Michelle. Sister Lieutenant, how you doing over there? How you doing? Oh, man. Burton says true. Yep, it's true. It uses it's like a club, a sword, and an arrow. All right. Confidence in an unfaithful person is like what? Did it say cold water, a bad tooth, warm bread, or a strong wall? Confidence in an unfaithful person, what did the text say is like what? Cold water, a bad tooth, warm bread, or a strong wall. What say you, fam? Man, looks like everybody's going with two. Saying a bad tooth. Listen, I know about those. Man, oh man. Mercy. That's it. Confidence in an unfaithful person is like a bad tooth and a foot that's out of joint. Have you ever been walking and it's like your ankle or your knee just gives on you all of a sudden and kind of bends? It's like, man, listen. True or false? Verse 20 shows that timing matters when comforting others. Is this true or is this false? Listen, that foot, both of these, bad tooth, man, I can tell y'all a story about that one of these days. Foot out of joint. You're like, man, I can't put too much pressure on this. So did verse 20 show us that timing matters when comforting others? True or false? Right, D says both. Listen, that is indeed true. Comfort can harm when it ignores someone's grief. Yes, indeed. All right. Feeding the enemy. In our devotional text, what does it say it demonstrates? Is it revenge, avoidance, restraint, or fear? Feeding the enemy. What did it demonstrate in our text? Revenge, avoidance, restraint, or fear? A, B, C, or D? What say you, fam? Let's see. D says C. All right, Charlotte, Michelle, Dorothy, Cheryl. Hey, everyone's on the same page. All right now. That is correct. Integrity under pressure, restraint And there's nothing no one can do or say to convince me otherwise. It's just not. Mm-mm. All right. Backbiting can change the atmosphere of a room. Is this true or is this false? Is this true or false? Backbiting can change the atmosphere of a room. Charlotte says true.
What?
Let's see. You know, and if we're honest, sometimes the temperature of that room never returns the same. The temperature of that community, the temperature of that group, it never returns back. It never levels itself out. So that is indeed true in so many ways. A righteous person who falters, what are they compared to? A fortified city, a polluted well, a gold ornament, or a refreshing rain? A righteous person who falters, what did the devotional text compare them to? Polluted well, fortified city, a gold ornament, a refreshing rain. 1, 2, 3, or 4. Nope, it doesn't. It does not return to the same temperature no matter what you try and do to get that thermostat to go back and level out, to return that space. It's not going to work. Listen, we just have to be real about these things. Sometimes we keep trying to fix it and adjust it. A polluted well. Let's see. There we go. Next time, sometimes we just can't find the words. A righteous person who falters is compared to a polluted well. Be like, you know what? You just polluted well. I'm not drinking from this. You imagine the look on someone's face if you had conversation with them that way? No, you're being a polluted well right now, and I'm not thirsty. As what did Regina show us the other night? They used to do this back in the day. Close the blinds. Close the blinds. A polluted well. True or false? Seeking your own glory is praised in verse 27. Seeking your own glory is praised in verse 27 of our text. Is that true or is that false? Seeking our own glory. True or false? What say you, fam? Say false? Listen, I agree with y'all. I do. I'm standing with y'all. That's false. It says seeking our own glory is not glory at all. And get someone a whole reading from the text. Listen, a person with no rule over their spirit, what are they like? A planted tree, a city without walls, a sealed letter, or a safe harbor. A person with no rule over their spirit, which are they like? A, B, C, or D? Listen, don't need a lot of honey. Better not. Let's see. We got B, a city without walls. All right, let's see. A city without walls. It gave us that exact picture. Now that's something to think about. The lesson teaches that too much access leads to instability. True or false? Too much access leads to instability. Be that true or be that false? What do you say?
Dead giveaway.
Thank you very much.
Giveaway. Dead giveaway.
True or false? That is indeed true. Without gates and walls, anything can influence us. Anything. All right? Our transformation cue today. What was our point today? Is this worth it? Am I giving too much access? Who is watching? Or wonder if I can fix this later? Fix it in the post-production, as they say. Fix it in post. Is this worth it? Am I giving too much access? Our devotional text today. What was the foundation? Who is watching? Or, you know what? I can probably fix this later. I can do a little patchwork. I can rig it up so it'll work for a little while. Man, listen. Am I giving too much access? This right here helps to check permission before compromise. Family, your future, my future, their future, it needs gates. It needs gates. Our peace, my peace, your peace, it needs walls. Not walls of pride. Not those. Not walls of pride. Walls of wisdom. Walls of integrity. Walls of self-control. Too much excess. We covered verses 18 through 28 this morning. Walls of self-control. Cheryl says the stress of trying to fix is the polluted wall. Just trying to rig things up. See what sticks. See, family, we don't have to live exposed. You get to decide what or who has access to you. Tighten the gates, guard your spirit, and watch your peace slowly begin to return back home to home base. All right, family? We've reflected. Man, what a week we've had going through the lesson. We've reflected. But now it's up to you to say, you know what? I'm going to intentionally reset and realign. And guess what? You have until January 5th to do so. Yes. We will resume again. So at this time, I say, enjoy your holiday. I am going to take a much needed break, relax, spend some much needed time with family, with my daughter, and just regroup and refill and look at those areas of my own life that may have a little bit too much excess, where I need to patch up some things, work on some things. All right? We will resume together after the holiday on January the 5th, Monday, January 5th. All right? Until next time, I love y'all. I truly, truly do. All right?
Whoop, time to go.
Wake up to the sunrise glow. First light reflections, here we go. Torah uses God's wisdom to guide us every day. Self-discovery on the way. Reflect, reset, be your best. Join the quiz, it's not